it's Heather Anderson, and I'm coming to you from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, way up north in the land of snow. And it is, I think, November 25th today. You're gonna probably hear some of my farm animals because I'm filming this in my sauna, as this episode or this podcast is called Fiber in the Sauna, because that's where I shoot this podcast. So anyways, thank you so much. If you're a new viewer, thank you for watching, and if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and for sticking with me through like the awkward phases of getting used to being on video in this way. I've done a little bit of video in the past, but not with my wool or fiber stuff, so I don't know, it takes some getting used to. And of course, last time I did a podcast, I think it was 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks ago, I told you I'm going to start doing this weekly because I thought, in my brain, well, that'll help me get used to it faster, it'll help me stay more on the ball. And what I realized is it's not feasible right now. It's not realistic. I have other stuff I want to work on at the same time, and a lot of things going on at once. So once a month, or every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, who knows how exact I will be on here, but I will try to at least once a month. So hopefully next time I won't tell you it's weekly again. But anyways, I'll try not to babble on here too long. This podcast is about knitting, it's about fiber, it's about spinning, a little bit of sewing, because I finally got at my sewing machine. Mostly just about creating and enjoying it, right? I love when I have quiet time knitting or crafting. I enjoy watching and listening to other knitting podcasts and creative people, just hearing where they're getting inspiration from, what they're up to. To me, it's a fun way to engage with other people without being able to meet them in person, right? Because we can't all meet each other in person all the time, unfortunately. So anyways, that's enough about babbling, but I hope you guys have had a really great month, and I am curious what everyone has been up to leading up into the holiday season. Are you guys getting really creative? Are you making a lot of stuff? Or are you trying to just be in the moment? Do you have a lot of pressure on yourself? Do you have a lot of deadlines with your projects? I'm trying not to get into that because I do really enjoy making gifts for people, but I've found if I try to put too much of that on my plate, then it kind of spoils the whole reason for the holiday season, and I want to just be in the moment and be present and enjoying it with my family, right? And celebrating the true meaning of the holidays, and not focused on feeling like I'm living with stress and deadlines and whatnot. So anyways, I'm curious how you guys handle that as crafty people, whether you... And like another thing about gifting things is you sort of have to have the right people to gift to, and not everybody appreciates a handmade gift. So do you give a gift to someone who doesn't appreciate a handmade gift? Are you better off giving them something a little more generic, like a gift card? Like, as a knitter and a sewing person myself, I love getting handmade gifts because I know what goes into them and I value them so much. But I know not everybody is like that. And the point of giving a gift isn't that that they value it as much as we do. It's just the act of giving, right? So I'm just kind of curious how you guys approach that. Or, I don't know. I have different trains of thought, and maybe I'll kind of share that with you if I remember to as we go along, because some of my projects are gifts. Okay, enough babbling. I just want to say one other thing that was really fun that I got to do since I was here last is go to my sister's house in Wisconsin with almost all of my sisters and with my mom and my sister-in-laws. And I'm from a really big family. For those of you who don't know, I'm the oldest of 14, so I have 6 younger sisters, and I have 2 sister-in-laws, and then my mom. So only one of my sisters wasn't able to be there, but it was so fun. Like, I finally got to sew, you guys. It was so exciting. So that's mostly what I did is I sewed, and I knitted a lot too, but mostly sewed. So it was really fun. Anyways, I'll get into my sewing later. So first we'll stick with the knitting. So, okay. So finished objects. I actually have quite a few finished objects. Not any like really huge finished objects. This is the one that I'm most excited about. This, it's the Pebble Shawl Unravelry. I'm smelling it because, you guys, it smells so good. It smells like a farm. It smells like a sheep, but like in a fresh way, like in a real way. And like, I have to wear it because I seriously love it. So this yarn is hand spun yarn. It's not yarn from my own sheep. This is the first like big spinning project that I took on. It was before my sheep were shorn for the first time. But it's probably, I would say it's a DK weight yarn. The pattern called for a fingering weight, but I figured a shawl would be a good way to use it because it wouldn't really matter the weight. And you guys, I ended up with a ball like this big, so it was perfect. I literally just had enough to finish this pattern. But what I did is I held it double with, and I don't know if the camera will pick this up, with a single strand of silk. And I think I just gotten that strand of silk from Knit Picks. Can't remember the exact name of that yarn, but one thing is I don't really know. I am so not a fancy person. For those of you guys who know me, like in real life, I'm so not fancy. So like with this kind of thing, I just kind of struggle because I don't know how to wear it. Like, just give me a scarf that I just wrap around my neck tight, or give me like a cowl where you really can't mess that up, right? But I think I need some lessons. But anyways, I think it's good. So it's plenty warm, it's plenty big, it's plenty squishy, and it smells delightful. And this is going to be for my mom for Christmas. I hope my mom doesn't watch this. I don't think she will, because she's not online very often, so I don't think she'll see this. But if you know my mom, don't tell her about this shawl, and don't tell her about this video. But anyways, I'm so excited about this. This is my favorite finished object, and it was really fun to knit because with all of the little eyelets, it was like just enough to not get bored, but not so much that I couldn't do it like in the commotion, like with my kids. So because I homeschool, I hardly have any free time where my kids aren't around. And so I would love to take on like super challenging projects like detailed color work, but I haven't done a lot of it yet because there's hardly any time where I can like literally hear myself think. I'm sure some of you mom crafty people out there can relate to that. Just not having that like headspace to focus, to look at a pattern that really needs your focus and to bring it to completion. So anyways, this was just the perfect project for me at this point. So I'm so excited because I have a homemade gift for my mom. And going back to the giving gifts, handmade gifts, my mom is one who appreciates it. She will use it. She's a crafter herself, knitter and sewer. She knows like the value of a handmade item. She knows what goes into it. And I'm hoping she'll love it. So I'm really excited to give that to her. And then I do have some notes here because I felt a little scattered. So if I'm like looking at my notes, like you'll know what's going on. Alright, so my other finished item, which I've actually worn these a couple times, so they look pretty beat, is my socks. And I showed you guys these last time. They're getting pretty nubby already. I should have held off on wearing them. But you guys, these are seriously so cozy, so comfy, and so deliciously warm. I cannot believe it. So they're not actually a complete match. They're not a complete match. It's just a really basic. I didn't follow a pattern, but if you look for like the plain vanilla sock on Ravelry, it's the same basic concept. But my yarn weights were kind of all over the place, so when I make socks, I like to just use up yarn from my stash because, I don't know, I'm practical and socks wear out fast. I'm really hard on my socks, and when I make for my kids, they're really hard on socks. So I like to just kind of use up what I have and not spend a lot of money specifically on socks. But once in a while I do. But anyways, so this is, the cuff is just hand spun yarn that I made myself. This part I think is the Fiber Company, and I think it's a mixture of, I'm just picking pills off. I think it's a mixture of merino and silk. Sorry, my door is creaking. I'll have to open so I get a little extra light. And the bottoms are the best part, you guys. So this one is 100% merino sport weight, and I bought it at a yarn shop in Wakefield, Michigan. I talked about it in my last podcast, but I was nervous that I wasn't going to have enough. I gotta shut this door. Hey, Kurt. Sorry if it's suddenly darker. I was nervous that I wasn't going to have enough to finish the toe because in this one I think I held it double. No, I don't know. Oh, I know what I did. I held this double with a single ply of hand spun BFL, and they were similar colors. And then I didn't know if I'd have enough alpaca to do that. Or no, enough of the BFL to do that for the next one. So then I held it double with, see if that picks that up, with a black, I think it was one of the long wool. I think it was a Gotland yarn from Vermont Grandview Farm, I think her farm is called. I'll try to look it up and post it in the description. So I held it double with that and the alpaca, and it's so warm and squishy. I don't ever want to take these off. I cannot wait to put them back on. I had to take them off to show you guys these. So anyways, that was another finished object. And what else did I finish? Oh, I was going to show you this from a while ago. I had it on earlier. It's not technically finished because I didn't weave in all the ends yet. But what I'm finding is that as much as I love the look of mohair, I am just not that fancy. And when I go outside to like throw some throw some hay for my sheep or something, all those bits and pieces of hay get stuck in this, and because I'm not one to like change outfits so much for work and play, and it literally takes me hours to peel all that out of here. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, legit, what is that? Like, it looks like gum. You're getting a glimpse into my life here for sure. But as much as I love this, I think it was a church mouse. Is that what they're called? Pattern. It was a free pattern off of Ravelry. I'm pretty sure it was free. And it literally just knit in, I think it was just stockinette stitch. And then you sew the ends together. And it's so pretty, and it was one skein of Shibui, mohair and silk. Lots of ums. I'm sorry, you guys are gonna have to have patience for me because I'm like umming all day today. So as much as I love this, I just don't know that I'll make another thing in mohair like soon, like, because I was thinking about this today when I was going on a walk, is that, you know, when you get into making items or even shopping, you know, say you're just shopping for garments, it's like, it's so tempting to go with the trends and get all the, like, the trendy stuff, but then what I end up finding for myself is what do I want to wear? I want to wear, like, the staple things that really work for not just my body, but my lifestyle. Because ultimately, how you dress is a reflection of your lifestyle, too. And I'm not that fancy. So anyways, as much as I love this cowl, and I'm going to try to wear it more, but I've hardly ever worn it, and, like, it's not even finished. So that's just my take on the mohair craze. I love how it looks. It's beautiful. It's luxurious. I just hate how everything gets stuck in it, and it just, I don't know, looks kind of trashy. So anyways, what else was I going to show you guys? Oh, I didn't bring it out here, but maybe it doesn't matter anyways, because I think I'm going to rip it out. So I had that hand-dyed yarn in the last podcast. Really dark, like jewel earth tones, and then with some gray, plain gray yarn, and I held them together to make a brioche cowl. It's using a free pattern from Purl Soho. I loved doing the brioche stitch. I loved learning it. I did finish the cowl, but I had to make it like a smaller size because I didn't have enough yarn to do the whole pattern. The pattern called for it to wind it around your neck twice, and I knew I only had enough to go around once, and it just, as much as I love how it looks, it just didn't seem like a very practical garment, and I wanted it to be something that would be super warm and squishy. Like, it kind of hung down too low, so it felt like it should have been tighter on the neck, but yet not so tight that it's like choking. So I'm either going to rip it out and make it like less stitches so that it's tighter on the neck and a little taller, or I'm just going to rip it out and make something different and just call it a learning experience with brioche stitch. And I hope to make some more brioche things in the future and actually have the right materials to make the whole pattern and not just kind of fudge it and wing it and then have to rip it out, which I do that a lot with my knitting, honestly, and my life. Okay, so I think that's all I have for finished objects. So I do have some works in progress. One is super depressing to talk about. So I'm not even taking it out of the bag because it's like in so much danger of like literally fraying right now. It's the Little Miss Apple Cardi. I've showed it to you, I think, in almost every podcast I've done so far. I completely bound off the bottom. I was going to put the steek in. I've never steeked a sweater before, so I was all excited. I'm like looking on YouTube how to do it. I get all the stitches stabilized, so I thought, and okay, I'm like, okay, I'm doing this very carefully. Of course, the kids are all like this, like in my ear as I'm doing it, you know. I'm just like trying to stay all calm and like, yeah, I'm cutting my sweater. What could possibly go wrong? A lot can go wrong. I literally cut a hole like right here. Like it was like pulled underneath where I was cutting the center steek, and I didn't know, like, duh, how did I not notice? But I literally cut like five pieces of yarn, and so I tied them all together. I don't know how to I don't really know the correct way to like darn a sweater. I will learn because I am not going to rip that out, but I just got so crabby at that project after that I just put it in the bag and I haven't looked at it since. So even though I bought buttons for it and I got all excited and I started steeking it, and I'm like so close to being done because it's worsted weight yarn, so I know the sleeves are going to go super fast once I get to the sleeves. But I wanted to do the steeking first so I can easily try it on and make the sleeves exactly the length I wanted. So I was pretty bent, honestly. And then that same day I'm like, oh, I'm so sick of my hair. I have to do something with my hair. So I literally just like I don't even really have a mirror in my house right now, to be honest, because some of you know we're building right now, and it's still so much construction, and I have one little mirror like on the ground, like underneath, like behind a stack of like boards and just like construction stuff, a ladder probably, and I'm like, I'm cutting my hair. I'm so sick of my hair. It's just so tangly. It's just a mess. It's just always frizzy. So I literally I grabbed, my hair was like this, like parted kind of how I like it, and I literally just grabbed it, held it in the back in like a ponytail, and just took some sharp scissors and cut. And then I go like this, and I look at my handful of hair, and in the handful of hair is part of my husband's sweatshirt that I was wearing. Oh, I about died. I thought it was pretty hilarious, and luckily it was a really old sweatshirt, just probably trashy and whatever, so he didn't care, but I was so glad I wasn't using the chainsaw that day, you guys. I'm not even kidding. Oh my goodness. But, so yeah. That was fun. That was a pretty awesome day. Yeah. So that happened. And then, what else? That's about my work in progress. Okay, so the pattern is Little Miss Apple Cardi. I've talked about it in every episode so far. It's in issue 9 of Laine magazine. Super cute, simple, super basic top-down cardigan, but you knit it in the round and then you steek it, which I don't want to do another steek for a long time. So now, I have one other work in progress, which I'm doing another pair of socks. I just like to always have socks going. And once again, I'm just using scrap yarn. So I have a little bit of that hand-dyed yarn. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to open the door. A little bit of that hand-dyed yarn for the cuff. See if it wants to focus. Oh, there we go. And then some maybe mohair and some merino for the leg. And then for the heel, it was alpaca. And then for the toe, I'm literally just using up many different weights of yarns. Sorry about the creak. Many different weights of yarns and many different quantities, because I'm tired of having so many yarns getting tangled all about my house, and I don't have a good storage. Yeah. Anyways, so that's my goal, is to just use up my scraps on socks. I did start a blanket, but I'm not completely sold on how it's turning out, so I might just rip it out and say this is my sock stash with all my leftovers. So I am using a little bit of that alpaca, and then with some scraps. I think this is merino and silk from Quince & Co. And then some of this is my hand-dyed stuff, and then this stuff is mostly hand-spun. Hang on one second, let's see what my kiddo needs. What, buddy? That's fine. Oh, sorry about that. And then, so that's my other work in progress. Just my cardigan and this. I was so excited about my shawl, so I feel like that's mostly what I've been knitting on. So I need to either need to re-excite myself on my steeked cardigan, which I honestly don't think that's going to happen for a while. I'm not one to force myself to work on something just because, like, if I'm not excited about it, I would just set it down and I will pick it back up when I'm excited about it, because this isn't like my job. I just do it for fun, so I think your fun should not equal stress in your life. That's just my theory. So anyways, so this is my sock, or this is for my daughter, actually. This is for my oldest daughter, because she keeps complaining that she doesn't have handmade socks, and a bunch of the boys do, and it's not fair, and blah blah blah. And my kids are outside a lot, honestly, so I'm really happy if they have cozy, warm feet. So now I'm going to move on to what I spun. So I didn't spin a ton, but I did start on my, I don't think I showed you guys that I got roving back from the mill from my sheep, but I started, of course it's full of hay, not from my sheep, but from my life, since it got back here. I spun this one up first. I don't know if you're going to see this that good, being that it's black. There we go. So it's kind of fuzzy. It's not by any means a perfectly smooth yarn, but it's just the way that the fibers were prepared is what I'm realizing. Like, if you have like comb top or pin drafted roving, you're going to get like a really smooth yarn, like a really, I think it's called worsted. I don't know all the spinning terminologies. I need to learn them. It would probably help me a lot, but basically there's one yarn that's really like tighter and smoother. It's stronger, it's denser, and it will pill less, but it won't be as soft and squishy. So this is really soft and squishy. So I really want to make a hat out of this for my husband, but I know this isn't going to be enough. I didn't weigh this, but I just don't think it will be. So I have to make another skein of this, and I don't know if I'll find a pattern or just make like a basic like fisherman ribbed hat, but I could not find my nitty natty, so of course I was skeining this on my chair, so it doesn't make a very nice skein to show you guys. But this is from my sheep Hope, and Hope is a CVM raw model breed, so she's a crossbreed, and her daughter Grace were the first sheep that came to our farm, and so I think it's so awesome that I'm gonna make him something out of her wool, because I don't know if she's gonna be around with us for another year, because we do keep our sheep, we keep our animals for both meat and fiber, and she did not have the easiest time with twins this year, and so she might be going in the freezer, and I want something cozy and usable and practical from her fleece. So I'm excited about that, and I do have a lot more to spin of her fiber too, so not sure what I'll make. So this yarn, you can see this came out much smoother, but also denser, and it's a lot stronger. This is not going to pill as much, but you can just tell it's not as squishy. Like, it's actually, it's kind of stiff. It's not scratchy, like it's next to skin soft. I think it might be because the gray that is spun into here, I spun the gray in the grease. And I don't know, I just feel like whenever I spin it in the grease, it comes out really smooth and really pretty dense, but not as fluffy. So I like spinning in the grease once in a while just because it's so moisturizing for my hands, and I love the smell of the raw wool. There again. Sorry you have to deal with like my crappy lighting and my messy sauna and my loud doors and my chickens, and I don't know. If you think it's worth it, you're still watching. If you don't, you're like, bye-bye, lady. But anyways, so where was I? I don't know what my plan is with this, but I love how it smells. It is going to be super warm. It would make a really nice, well, I just think socks for everything lately, but this would be really nice in socks, honestly, because it's super sturdy, but it's super soft still. So I don't know what I will make with this. I don't really have a plan. It's just going to go into my stash with like thousands of other little small skeins of hand spun yarn. That's the hard thing about when you hand spin, is I don't have the patience to spin a sweater quantity of one kind. Like, I want to move on. If I make a skein, I want to move on to a different a style of spinning or different color or whatever. And so of my hand spun yarn, even though I have a lot of it, I don't have enough to make like a bigger project. So that's one thing I've been trying to think of, like, could I work it into like the collars on sweaters, or like, you know, the cuffs of sweaters or the bottoms, or like the button bands. I think that would be super cute and like so like retro and farm looking and stuff. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to, maybe if I finish my cardigan, that'll be my motivation to make a sweater where I incorporate at least some of my handspun yarn into it. Or else maybe it'll just be like a coat of many colors. I don't know, that would be super cool. I'm totally talking out loud, I haven't even thought about this before. Sorry, peeps. Okay. So that's all I did for spinning, and sewing was exciting. I made myself a shirt. I'm so pumped, you guys. I don't hardly ever make anything for myself. I shouldn't say I don't make anything for myself, but in my years of sewing, I've made very little of my own clothes. I learned how to sew when I was little. I think I said that before, and I actually made my confirmation dress when I was like 15 or 16, but like I don't think I've made one single garment for myself since then. And that was only a mere 20 years ago, about. So it's like exciting that I made my own shirt. And this is the, what is it called? It's the Shift Top by Wiksten, Wiksten. And it's just a really boxy, there's like, it's just real straight down, these two pockets. It's just all one, literally one piece sewn together. And then I did interfacing, which I'm not really loving the interfacing because out of the wash, everything else is pretty okay. Like I wouldn't have to iron this, I don't think, but then this is like all wonky. And so I'm like not super loving the interfacing in this fabric, but I am loving the shirt. So I might sew that. I might like put a decorative stitch around there, like hand sewn, or I might just deal with it. I don't know. I love this top. I made it in size 10, I think, and it fits really well. I think that for my, like, I think the pattern is supposed to be looser right here, like around the arms and the bust. But then it would have been so big on me around my waist, it would look like out to here. So I think it fits perfect for my body shape, and I would make another one in this exact size. And I think the pattern comes in like a 3/4 length version, so it comes like here or here. And then it comes also as a dress, like a shorter dress that you could wear with leggings, or else a longer dress that you can kind of, it's a little bit more fitted because you have a tie around it. So I have fabric to make at least one more shirt like this, and at least one of the styles of the dresses. But I think if I make the shirt again, I would try to test my sewing skills and add like a fake button band. I think would be super cute, and then maybe make like the 3/4 length version. I don't know. I did make like a practice one of this just to see if it was my size, and I didn't have any muslin. I just used an old flannel sheet. And I was so sold on that shirt. It was like so warm. I'm like, I should just make all my clothes out of flannel. As like, maybe not that fashionable to have everything sewn out of flannel, but that would be so cozy. So I went and looked for some wool, and I didn't really find a lot. I actually went to my local fabric store looking for fabric for my girls because I told them I would make dresses for them for Christmas. And then I just realized, I just can't buy so much fabric at a time. I already have an issue with too big of a yarn stash. And if I'm going to get back into sewing, I need to just chillax and not like buy every fabric for for sewing too. So I'm just trying to restrain myself and be practical. But I had really fun, so much fun making this. And then the other thing that I sewed, I actually sewed this at my sister's house in Wisconsin. And this is the Stowe bag by Fringe Supply Company. But when you're looking at this, I did do something wrong. And I have not actually went back to look at the pattern to figure out what exactly it is. I think it's these sides are supposed to be pulled in more. I actually super much love it the way it is because I can fit tons of stuff in here. But it's supposed to be, I think, just a bit more, like right now, like it almost looks like a top. But it's not supposed to look like this. And I am going to figure this pattern out. I'm not going to bother taking this one apart just because it's done and it's functional for what I want it for. I want to be able to put like all of my sewing projects, if they're in their individual bags, to put them all in here and to be able to just kind of like hang this in my entryway or, you know, in by my craft stuff or whatever. And that's kind of what I've used it for. So I do have my little apple Cardi in here, but it's all bagged up, not in any fancy project bag. And some sewing supplies and my needles, my knitting needles and stuff. But so this is the Stowe bag. I am going to make the smaller one because the pattern comes in 2 sizes. So I'm going to make the smaller one and see if I can't figure out basically what I did wrong. So, this episode is going longer than I anticipated, and maybe you guys would rather if I did weekly podcasts so you don't have to listen to me talk so long, but it just is what it is. And, oh yeah, I was going to show you the fabric I bought for my girls' dresses. So I did buy flannel because I just felt that would be so cozy for them for winter. And I took them with to pick out the fabric. And I'm not the type of mom that's controlling at all of what my kids wear. I let them wear whatever they want. Sorry. I don't tell them their clothes don't match. I don't tease them for what they choose to wear. I figure, hey, I look pretty helter-skelter with the clothes that I choose, and I don't like when people tell me, like, why would you choose that outfit? That looks dumb on you. So I would never do that to my kids. That's just my personal feeling. So I knew that when I took them with me to pick out fabric that they would end up picking fabric that I probably wouldn't have picked. But I was okay with that going into it. And even though I told the girls, I'm making these dresses for you guys for Christmas, so you can wear them at Christmas time, I don't care if you don't want to do Christmas colors. You can pick whatever colors you want. So I really love what they picked out. I think they're super cute and very basic, but I love the colors. So they're all flannel, and they're going to be super warm and cozy. And the pattern, I wish I had a picture of it. It's a Sullivan dress pattern. It's sleeveless, so I'm hoping to either make or find little cute, warm, cozy sweaters for them, or else just like a real cute or plain long sleeve to wear underneath it. But it's sleeveless, and then it has like a scalloped top right here, but it's all one piece, and then the skirt part comes out from that. So they're both going to have like this eggplant color. I don't know what you would call this. It's not purple and it's not blue. Maybe eggplant, I'm not sure. And then one of my daughters chose this bright yellow, and the other one chose this kind of dusty rose pink. So I think they're going to be adorable. I'm excited to make them. It costs more money than I was wanting to spend, but we don't really have many options in my area, and I get it. The quality fabric is not cheap, and you don't sew to save money unless you're literally sewing out of bed sheets and stuff. You do it because you enjoy it and you want to make things that will last, and I don't know. It's just you do it because you love it. Otherwise, you wouldn't bother, right? And so, what else was I going to talk to you guys about? Oh, another thing I did the last couple weeks is I've been making soaps again. So I used to have an online shop where I sold a lot of like antiques and home goods, and then we made actually a lot of like woodworking projects like shelves and soap dispensers and things like this. And I made homemade soap too, like cold processed soap for people. And I've been just so in the mood to start making soaps again. And I actually did make some at my sister's when we were in Wisconsin, because we kind of all picked a craft, and they asked if I would teach them how to make soap, bar soap. So that's what I did. But I've been having a lot of frustrations because I literally botched 2 batches, and for whatever reasons, the ones that go in this cute little bee mold turn out just fine, and the ones that are in like my bigger mold are like not gelling, or they're like not setting up. So I know this isn't a soap making video. I know I'm going totally off topic with this, but maybe somebody has a resource or an idea or something. But either way, I'm going to keep trying to make soap because I do eventually want to sell soap again. I just don't know. I just feel like I need to play with it for a while, and I need to perfect my recipe again, because I don't want to do the same thing that I did in my business that I had a few years ago. I want it to be different. I want it to be super natural, super earthy, with clay and milk and essential oils and herbs, and like just super rustic and basic, since that's the type of person I am, I guess. And so, anyways, that's kind of, along with my sweater, that's kind of my flop lately, is that it's kind of turning out in these molds, but why is it not turning out in the big bar? What do I need to do differently? So I think I'm going to make some more tonight or tomorrow, and maybe in the next episode I will have a batch of soap that did not flop. We'll see. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's getting a little bit dark. We're losing light so fast up here. I opened the door, so that's a little better. We're losing light so fast up here. It's like, it's pitch black by like 5:30, you guys. We have so little sunlight up here in the winter, and usually I start feeling kind of like dragging by this time of year, like energetically and emotionally, even just start feeling like lack of sunshine and not being out in my garden. But this year I feel so creative and so inspired, and I just want to make everything, and I am finding so much time to make stuff, which is, I don't know how or why. It's awesome, but that's why I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So hopefully that keeps up, and we're able to keep doing these. Hopefully you're enjoying this. I hope you have just a most wonderful holiday. I should be back on here before Christmas, but if for some reason I'm not, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and just so many blessings over you and your family. So we'll take care, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.